So back to you guys, because this is helpful, because you've lived through, a number of markets. So kind of looking back, let's talk about maybe specifically an example of a property or two that you bought and the life of that property, how that's actually worked out for you, and then we'll get into some stuff you've learned.
All right, I'll go. So the first property I bought was a primary residence. Bought it for purchase plus renovation was $200,000. My mortgage on it was ridiculously low. And I did what some would consider kind of creative financing on it, but I had an interest-only loan that I paid extra down on, which would allow me to pull the cash out again if I needed to. So my mortgage payment was actually very, very low on it. And I kept that one for 20 years. Right before I sold it, even though my mortgage payment was like $850, I was renting it for $2,600.
Wow.
And then sold it for $415,000.
Nice.
All right. Another one that I bought just a couple of years ago, bought it for $345. It's probably worth about $389 right now. My return on this one, astronomical, because of how little cash I put down on it. Because I did it as the primary purchase again. And so my appreciation is like at 114%. My annual cash ROI is at 68.57 cash ROI on it, because I've got a $1,700 rent payment, mortgage payment, and renting it out for about $2,700, right at $2,700 exactly.
Nice.
And so that's one from a long time ago, and then one from recent.
And I think by appreciation, you don't mean the overall sales price of the overall. When you said appreciation 114%, you don't mean the 345.
No, yeah, correct. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm comparing it to the cash I put down on it.
Yeah.
Which
your cash on cash return.
My cash on cash return
is 114%.
on the appreciation.
Yes.
And sorry, I didn't even look at how much debt is on it anymore.
So Josh, that's interesting because it gets into something that you referenced at the beginning, which is that you used to be afraid to leverage your money, and now it sounds like that's changed a little bit.
Well, part of it was I just always thought debt was bad.
Okay.
And I do believe that the debtor is, a servant to the lender. So I mean that's an accurate thing.
Sure.
Concept. However, from an asset standpoint, I am like if you said, hey, I want to go buy an $80,000 car and I don't have the money for it, I'm like, well, why don't you buy a $12,000 car, because it's just a car. As long as it gets you from A to B, you're good.
Right.
Don't do anything else. But if you turn around and say, hey, I want to take $15,000 and I want to go buy a house, and that house is going to provide me a place to live over the next 12 months. I'm going to save up some more money. I'm going to go do that again. Now I'm going to go rent that house out. And I'm going to have a renter pay my mortgage down for me, and all that interest on that loan and the equity and taxes and insurance. That person's paying all that, and I'm making another $400 or $600 a month extra, and I'm going to go do it again. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
It's like the parable of talents. So you're using your resources and you're plentifying them. You're growing them by borrowing money to grow them.
I have grown so I started off out with nothing. I mean, my first job, I was a youth pastor, and we all know what youth pastors make, And
I
so
didn't know they got paid.
they do get paid. And so, it was like lean and mean as far as like financial, just like holding back and being careful and not spending. But in investing in real estate, even though I've only been doing it for like the past 5 years, I have grown my wealth way more in 5 years than I did the other 15 years combined. Because I'm putting it in things that is actually making significant money. And then reinvesting all of it. I'm not pulling it out. I keep just, doubling down.
How about you?
Yeah, so I'll jump in. So, I already mentioned the duplex one, and I told you guys buy and hold. And generally that's what we do when we're buying investment property, but we have partners that we do buy renovate, flip, or buy, renovate, hold for a bit, and then flip. So those are the examples I'm giving you. Bought one in April 2018, sold it in December 2020, invested $35K in cash all in, so held it for 31 months. Acquired it for it was on Christmas Street, acquired it for $123,000. Only had to put in $11,000. So it was an estate sale. They wanted to get rid of it, only had to put in $11,000 to fix it up. Total investment $134,500. We ended up selling it 31 months later for $179,500. After selling expenses and total investment, profit on the sale was $28,000. During that time, we were getting rental income for about a 28-month period of $1,750 a month. Our holding expense was $1,270 a month, so we were profiting $480 a month. So that was $13,500 over 28-month rental. So you combine those two, we profited $41,000 on a cash investment of $35,000. It was completely passive for me. I did nothing other than put the cash in. That was a cash on cash return of 115%. Annualized, that was a 45% annual cash on cash return. Compared to 6% S&P 500. So that was Christman Street. This is another example, like land. This is what I do. Bought a piece of land for $650. A month later, 1.17 a month and a few days later, sold it for $1.25 million. Total profit on that after some of the stuff that we had to do was $500,000. Cash on cash was 76%. It was a quick turn. We only had to cash out for a month. And so annualized, that was a 783% return. So that was great. And then, again, I practice what I preach. So this is something I just bought. So invested cash of $80,000. We bought it for $410,000. We had some closing costs, but the seller kicked back in $15,000 for some repairs. And so all in, the total investment kind of equals out to $401,000. At the time that we bought it, it appraised for $635,000. So frankly, we have immediate, and that's probably on the low side. So we have immediate equity in that property. So let's pretend it doesn't appreciate at all. So no appreciation at all for the next 3 years, and I hold it for 3 years, okay? So we're gonna profit $182,000 when we sell it after we pay, the broker fees and selling expenses. So $182,000 profit on sale with zero appreciation. Let's just pretend that happens. It's not gonna happen. And then our rental income right now on it is $3,300 a month. Our holding expense on it is $2,300. So every month we're profiting $923. So over a 36-month period, over a 3-year period, we'll have profited $33,000. It's a new construction home, so there's really nothing to upgrade or maintain. So $33,000 a month. Over a 3-year period. Total profit will be $215,000. So that's cash on cash of 268% and annualized cash on cash of 89%. So those are just some examples of just some everyday deals we've done, just to show you that this is real.
And we'll have these notes at the bottom that you can access, because I think it's helpful the way that you all are analyzing the investments and even your graphs and the way the items that you're looking at and considering with that. So what are a few things that you have learned about investing?
I wish I'd started earlier. The next piece of advice I tell everybody is really, I wish I'd started earlier. Now's a great time to take action. And number 3, I'm curious what you think about this one, Jim and Monique. But the return that you make is great, but really focus on your risk. You have to manage your risk. When you've got when you've got a lot of properties or you got a lot of assets and you can afford to take a little bit of a risk on one, that's fine. But when you're starting out, you've got to get a base hit. So a grand slam, wonderful. But you got to make sure you're going to get on base. So manage that risk. I would take a lower return for a guaranteed win 100% of the time getting out there. So those are the things that I've learned.
I love that.
Yeah, I think I would just say when you're investing, I think I already said it, but real estate to me, I used to have people say diversify. And while I agree with that, the thing is we already talked about why real estate versus other kind of more intangible assets. Real estate is just so tangible, it's right there, it doesn't disappear overnight. It never will, as long as you keep it insured. So keep it insured, that's what I've learned. But the other thing is just what are you investing in? So what is it? You just have, what is the underpinning kind of fundamentals of what you're investing in? So before you make any trade, whether it's Bitcoin or whether it's private equity or whether it's this medical device or whether it's real estate, what are you investing in? And if you're investing in Chattanooga and you're investing in a given neighborhood and you're investing in a different school zone, you can pretty confidently understand the fundamentals of what you're investing in. Mm-hmm. If you're investing in Bitcoin, I dare you to try to explain to me what you're investing in. I can't explain to you what I'm investing in. So that's why I have very little in it. Very little, just want you to know.
Here's the thing, I do diversify.
Right. Yeah,
I've got single families.
Right.
I've got different price points.
Right.
I got different areas of town. I've got commercial property. I'm looking out at multifamily 19-door unit.
That's right. That's right.
That's diversification.
That's right. Mm-hmm. The other thing I've learned is stress test your real estate investments. So a lot of people maybe greenlit a real estate investment because they said, hey, this is based on STVR, short-term vacation rental money. Well, guess what happens if STVRs go? Because I always said, what if that business model goes away? I want to stress test it and make sure I can make money on it as a long-term rental because that's not going away. And so every STVR that I ever bought, I stress tested it against a long-term rental before I bought it. Same thing with a rental property. Stress tested against rates. So people that bought something that made sense at 3%, it might not make sense anymore if they have to refi at 7 or 8%. So again, you just kind of want to stress test those models. And always ask yourself before you make the deal, why would this not work out? Because it's day one of the investment, everything looks great. So ask yourself, what could go wrong? Well, why would this not work out? Within reason, not nuclear war or whatever like that, but within reason, why could this not work out? And make sure you know the answers to those questions. And don't let those answers instill fear in you so that you don't do the investment. Let them instill knowledge in you and preparation so that you make sense, so that you prepare that investment to live through those stresses if they happen. So
if you could go back 20 years, what would you have done differently?
I started earlier. It's easy. You might have a better answer because you did start early.
Yeah, it wouldn't be start early, but I would say probably
Hold?
No, I think that I probably would have diversified less. I would have done less WorldCom, less Lucent, less medical device. And I would have just stuck to my guns in real estate, I think I listened to some, well-meant, but ultimately poor advice. And the balance sheet shows that advice to have been poor. And I think I would have pursued and acquired. We got really busy. We got, really busy with life. We got really busy with business and different things like that. And that happens. But I wish we had a commitment to purchasing a certain number of rental properties every single year, because there were years we went through kind of dry spells where we could have, but we were just too busy to. And that's just because of a choice we made. And if we had made the choice and the commitment, I think that we would be even in a different position than we are now. And I would have not sold any property. I've sold property. The only investments I regret are the ones that I've sold in real estate. I would have not sold anything. Everything that I've owned, I wish I had not sold it.
What else do you have to share with clients of the lead team?
Well, I'll say this. When you're trying to decide on a property, make sure you do have a realtor that has your best interests at heart. And I have personally witnessed, both Jim and Monique do what's right by a buyer or a seller over their own interest. And if you don't have someone that cares more about your financial well-being than their monthly paycheck, you need to go get somebody else. And you want to make sure that somebody that has experience, that's walked the talk and all that other kind of stuff. So I'd say that. And then secondly, don't overthink this right now. All you got to do is take the next right step. And the next right step is to raise your hand and say, hey, I want to look at my finances. I want to look at my credit. I want to see what's possible out there. And I want to put a plan together. Get a good plan, and I do this with people, putting the financial plan together all the time. Get a good plan together, and then go work your plan. But you need to have the money side of it and the real estate side of it really lined up so that when it's right and it's time, you can pull the trigger and take action.
It's good. I like it. I think there's a couple things probably. One is just don't let obstacles get in your way. Like I said, you could use that deal, your first deal, as a finder's fee. Guys, I just had a conversation with somebody. He's investing in T-bills right now, getting a 3.5% return. So you could easily go to someone like that and just say, hey, find that person. Hey, what if I paid you 6, 7, 8%? Or even 10%, I don't care, but it's basically around what rates are anyway right now. They're making more money than they ever could off of T-bills. It's secured by Chattanooga Real Estate, and then you're getting an opportunity to get into the market. Maybe your credit's bad, maybe you don't have the down payment or whatever. So do private equity to do your first deal. Do private equity with someone you trust, not a loan shark. So that's one thing. I think the other thing is that when we talk about this buy and hold thing, that is true. But that is predicated on one simple understanding, and that is that you must be able to cash flow the property. Where people get themselves in trouble is when they get over leveraged and they overextend themselves and they cannot cash flow anymore, and then therefore they lose their shirts either to the bank or or they have to sell in a distressed state. So you want to always make sense that you're not make sure that you're not overextended, that you're not over leveraged, and that you can cash flow these real estate investments. So I think those are the big things I probably want to leave. And then just my involvement specifically with the lead team is, since I am in the real estate kind of investing world, and that is what I'm trying to do, is I'm placing I'm with our $20 million fund, we're buying fairly large kind of portfolios. But what that means is that I run all the time across great deal at 200,000, or a lot of them here at 70,000, or a great deal here at 350 or 400, or even $1 million, or whatever. It might be too small for our portfolio. And so what I do when I find those is I throw them over to the lead team, because I trust that they have investors who are wanting to go ahead and place money and make investments. So I think they're a great source of investment leads and investment opportunities. And then I think the other thing that I would say is, again, I practice what I preach. So I have realtors helping me with all of these deals. So I'm not doing this on my own. I either have someone on the lead team, or I have a commercial realtor, helping me with this deal. So I use realtors too. So practicing what I preach.
Well, and I so appreciate what you bring, because you bring the bigger picture and some of the knowledge, as well as a lot of opportunity to our clients. And Josh, I so appreciate that you regularly will sit down and take 60 minutes, because while in many ways it is pretty simple and pretty straightforward, it becomes a more customized portfolio, or even approach or business plan for every one of our clients. And so if you are interested and this has piqued your curiosity and you're ready to build wealth, if you will direct message us, Josh and our investor specialist will sit down with you and figure out a plan to get you into the game and to get you to start on this path to wealth. We're excited about what we do, and you guys, thank you so much for your time. This was incredibly helpful. We really appreciate you.
Sure thing.
Thanks, guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, everybody.